Hey everyone, it's Alex, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Decks of the Week, the weekly series where I showcase the top 11 best decks in Marvel Snap. And if you'd like to support the content, as always, hit that like button. It helps tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. Now, we just had a brand new OTA drop in Marvel Snap, and I gotta be honest with you, we have very little stats post-Infinite still, incorporating the statistics from the OTA onwards. And so therefore, the stats we're going to be talking about today are going to be incorporating some bot games because we're using untapped based statistics from ranks 70 to 100. It simply gave us like quadruple the sample size, more than that, maybe 5 times the sample size, and it gave me a lot more confidence in the decks that are allowing people to rank up towards Infinite. We just had a sliver of games in Infinite compared, so I'd rather give you guys the larger data set. Just bear in mind there are some bot games in there, even though the bots are kind of effective right now. Like some of them are getting way better, and there's still the throw bots here and there, but man, some bots are clapping cheeks. And anyways, let's get started with the budget deck of the week, which is going to be a Destroy deck, Budget Destroy, which is running a 57% win rate and a phenomenal 0.75 cube rate. Now this deck does feature 2 non-series 3 and below cards. Agony, which is going to be a Series 4. You can replace Agony with Hulkbuster. And then you have Nico Minoru. Now, Nico is a card that I'm okay with including in a budget deck, simply because, first of all, if you don't have it again, you can go with the Hulkbuster type thing. But honestly, Nico is a phenomenal card, and if you are going to be spending your tokens anywhere, like cards like Nico, Galacta, Gwenpool, like those are great evergreen choices that with confidence I can tell you are going to be worth your tokens. And so if you don't have Nico Minoru, you absolutely could consider adding it to your collection, and you got yourself a very competent budget deck. And Destroy has been Destroy for the longest time, and so if you're looking to be budget conscious, this is going to be a great option for you, which is going to take us into our formalized top 10. And we're starting with Bullseye, running a 56% win rate and a phenomenal 0.61 cube rate. Now, this was actually just barely not 57%, sorry. So this is like a just barely 56, and it's phenomenal. And this is the same deck it's always been. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. You do have a couple different versions of it. Like, for instance, if you don't have Frigga, you're absolutely okay doing something like a Zola instead of Frigga. You can also consider using Grandmaster if you don't have Grandmaster, or if you don't have Frigga or something else, right? If you don't have Scorn or Meek, you can consider Grandmaster. Overall, though, Bullseye is Bullseye and has continued to be one of the absolute top decks in the meta and has been so consistent. Now, Bullseye did get a power nerf, but I mean, that's nothing compared to what this deck is able to put out. And largely, I'm continuously impressed with how much power, both from a debuff perspective and also from an actual on-board perspective, that you get from Doc and you get from Morbius. This deck claps cheeks, and if you haven't tried it yet, you got to give it a shot. It's an absolute beauty. Bullseye coming in at number 10. At number 9 here, we do have Fenris and Victoria Hand. Fenris might be the card that is aged like fine wine more than any other, and I have to tell you, Fenris is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal here. And with Fenris, you do have the likes of Gladiator, you have Misery, Negasonic, right? A lot of opportunities to get some high value destroys and then bring those back with the Fenris. And of course, you have Shang-Chi as well. But the other thing that is kind of incorporated here, which I thoroughly enjoy, is the Victoria Hand, which goes alongside of things like the Hood, Iron Patriot. Of course, Mirage is in this list. And when I saw Mirage, I'm like, we got to talk about this deck. When was the last time you saw an actual competitive Mirage-based list? And we have exactly that here. Killmonger, phenomenal, not just for getting rid of the Hood, but for also countering some of the end-of-turn stuff, which I hate to tell you is still popular. But it's actually been brought down significantly in play rate. I'm kind of scared to bring up the fact that we're going to be talking about end of turn later, and it's still really good. So having something like a Killmonger is particularly beneficial. But anyways, yeah, like Victoria Hand is doing great. Fenris is doing great. Like Fenris Surfer's not in the current decks of the week, but Fenris has continued to be such a remarkable card, and it's even bringing stuff back like Negasonic. Like Negasonic is actually legitimately seeing play right now, which you could never have said in the entire history of Marvel Snap until the last month or two, when people started picking up on the fact that Fenris might be the sleeper card in the entire set, right? So anyways, love this deck, and I absolutely love seeing Fenris Wolf near the top. My wife and I have been looking for the right mattress since as long as we've been married, and we never quite found it. And that's why I was so excited when Titan Mattresses, made by Brooklyn Bedding, reached out for a sponsorship, sent me a mattress, and I've got great news. It's fantastic. My wife and I chose the King Size Titan Plus Elite because it had all the features we were looking for. Super supportive coils, as well as a cooling texture on the top to ensure that we stayed cool throughout the night, which is something we've always wanted and never had. My wife and I have been sleeping on the Titan Plus Elite for almost an entire month, and I have to tell you, it has helped our sleep tremendously. Not only is it comfortable and supportive, but it has shown absolutely no signs of sagging. This thing's built to last. And one of the things I was absolutely shocked about is I couldn't believe they were able to ship a coiled mattress in a small box. Like, I thought it was going to come up as a huge kind of thing that had to get wielded through the house, but no, it was very easy to get up the stairs into our bedroom and unpack. It was tremendously well packaged and well built. Whether you're watching TV late at night, playing games with your best friend, or of course, just having a little bit of fun, the Titan mattress is a great choice for a comfortable bed that you can rely on year after year. I'm not joking when I say that my wife and I have been thoroughly impressed with the mattress. For me, I've really liked the comfort, the support, and how well built it feels. And my wife has really enjoyed the fact that it feels much cooler to sleep in, and of course, it's as supportive as it is. For me, it feels like an affordable option for someone looking for a very high quality mattress at a great price. And talking about great prices, go to titanmattress.com/AlexanderCoccia and use code AlexanderCoccia to get 30% off your order. And remember, Titan mattresses have a limited lifetime warranty and offer a 120-night sleep trial for you to make sure that you're loving what you ordered. Admit it, you probably forgot about Scream, and that's okay. While this deck saw a relatively low play rate, it saw a 58% win rate and a 0.35 cube rate, which is very strong, and also represents a deck that honestly has been unimpacted by the most recent OTA attacks in the meta, right? Like, Second Inner has kind of left this to its devices, and things like Sam Wilson, Captain America, you barely even see anymore, and it's kind of interesting what kind of power this deck is able to put out. Now, my preferred version, I would say, does include Mercury. Like, I've been incorporating Mercury myself, and if you want to get Mercury in there, you could very easily, get rid of someone like the like if you don't have Hydra Stomper, for instance. Mercury is a good addition there. You can do Mercury for Stegron. There's options, right? I like Mercury, but at the end of the day, Scream is putting up legit power. It's extremely disruptive. It doesn't trade well into Luke Cages and stuff like that, but it is phenomenal what this deck is capable of doing. And Hydra Stomper, seriously, it is such a natural power outlet at the 3 cost for this deck, and it doesn't surprise me that it's doing as well as it is. An Arrow making this deck nonetheless. But yeah, so Scream, very consistent choice if you're looking to rank up towards Infinite. Still a good deck, although largely forgotten about in the current meta. And that's going to take us to a whole bunch of G-Man decks. We have actual G-Man. Okay, we have 3 Galactus decks in a row, but not all of them are what you think they are, because this one here is an actual Galactus kneeling deck. This is not the first steps. This is OG Galactus, and I love this deck. I absolutely love it. It is a 58% win rate, 0.51 cube rate deck, and it utilizes Frankie Nova, who I absolutely love. I think Frankie Nova is really cool, and this is exactly where I want to play a card like Frankie Nova. You got Agony, you got Lasher, Frankie Nova, right? This is very similar to the list that I had designed, except the incorporation of Galactus is ingenious. Like, it's so good, man. And the reason why it's so good, because you can just basically juice the symbiote Spider-Man. You can play it on the Agony, you can Namora it, and then you can play Galactus onto the symbiote Spider-Man and then reproc the on reveal with all the additional power to give the chance of blowing up all the other locations. Symbiote, Spider-Man, and Galactus is a legit combo, and it's back. It was one of those combos that we tested when Symbiote Spider-Man first came out, and then we kind of just we forgot about it. Well, it's back now, and you also have secondary winning lines of the Black Panther, Arnim Zola, Wong line. You got the Frankie Nova, Lasher lines with Namora and Wong. There's so many ways to win. This deck has literally 5 win conditions. There's always going to be a chance for you to clap some cheeks with this list. This is my deck of the week. This is the one you should be playing, in my opinion, because I think if you're looking to have some fun in Marvel Snap, this is going to be the one. I absolutely love it. And then we're going to go to additional G-Man decks. Now, this one here is G-Man Guardians. This is the Galactus First Steps. And I like the incorporation of Sandman here. I actually think it's kind of creative. I like it, and I like the idea of using something like a copycat. It also incorporates Stardust into this list. And I love the idea of putting down significant power, getting that Herald going. You have the Rocket and Groot to kind of trade value. I even like the idea of using something like an Iron Patriot, Rocket and Groot, right? Those are great combinations that we kind of forgot about. Again, Iron Patriot, considering the amount of power creep that we've seen at the 2 costs, which, they tried to rectify with the Mr. Fantastic First Steps nerf. We got some actual 2-drop cards seeing play again, right? Not just Surge and Mr. Fantastic plus whatever else is built around it. And so this deck is surprisingly performing well, running a 59% win rate and a 0.39 cube rate. This deck is solid. I like it. It's unironically running Drax, Star-Lord, and Groot. Gamora as well. Like, this is an actual Guardians deck. And this is what I talked about when I first reviewed Galactus Fantastic Four First Steps, when I said basically, like, I was hoping for this card to be a miniature version of Sanctum Showdown. And this is exactly the kind of deck that clap cheeks in Sanctum Showdown. If you don't have Stardust, you can definitely replace it with something that you wish. But like, what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I really do like the way this deck is designed, and it's nice to see that we have a Guardians deck that is legitimately playable in Marvel Snap. But if you want to play Galactus First Steps and you don't want to play Guardians, you do have the Wiccan version. This here's honestly my preferred version. I love the idea of having the Mercury Cannonball combination, which somehow keeps avoiding nerfs, alongside Fenris Wolf, Negasonic, Gladiator, Shangers. You have all these big power plays. You also have Quicksilver Wiccan. You have an allotment of 2-drops that you're almost always going to be drawing into for the most part. 4 is pretty common to be drawing into. You have the Tech of Red Guardian. Then you have Negasonic Gladiator. Like, you're just pissing off your opponent the entire time here. Phenomenal deck. Love the way it's designed. Does not surprise me that it's running a 59% win rate and a 0.44 cube rate, because it is absolutely sensual. You love to see it. Coming in at number 4, we do have Sauron running a 60% win rate and a 0.41 cube rate. And I got to tell you, much like the Scream deck, this is just a very good, solid deck that people aren't playing as much anymore, just because there's new fancy toys floating around, and there's all, the Pikachu YouTube thumbnails and stuff like that, like the new broken deck and everything, and everyone wants to play those, and forgetting about some of the good old chonky boy Sauron lists, which are honestly phenomenal, still doing great. You have the natural tech of something like an Enchantress, very susceptible to Shangers, of course, very susceptible to Shangers. As you go into higher MMRs, also particularly susceptible to the likes of Shadow King. But seriously, this is a great list. 60% win rate, 0.41 cube rate. Like, you're going to take that right to infinite for sure, right? So I do like the incorporation of Surge here. I think Surge was a very natural inclusion in these decks. And overall, man, like, I think these are really solid decks that aren't seeing enough play. And so if you want to confidently and steadily climb towards infinite, I do think that Sauron is going to be an excellent choice for you, much like a new deck that's just kind of burst into the meta, Moon Cannon, running a 60% win rate and a 0.57 cube rate. This is an ongoing base shell utilizing Astral Projection. Now, if you don't want to play Astral Projection, or if you don't have Astral Projection, because it's kind of been like interesting, we've seen a couple cooks with it, but like, it's never had like a mainstay, like, oh, you got to get Astral Project. Like, there are so many ongoing cards that you can slide into here, whatever you want, right? Like, even if you got to throw Punisher in here, you can throw Punisher in here if you want. Like, there's so many options. Just don't throw Armor in, because it's going to scam you with the Cannonball Mercury gameplay. But anyways, like, you can definitely take out Astral Projection if you want. But it is still kind of interesting to hit the likes of Spectrum, right? Like, it's kind of fun. And I will tell you that that this deck does have a lot of interesting tools with it, namely the verticality of, like, the Captain Carter, the Moonstone, right? I love that stuff. And I mean, even the OG Mr. Fantastic is fun with Moonstone, right? So there's a lot of options on how you can build this kind of deck. It runs Gorgon, right, which is pretty solid as well, especially since we just finished talking about like a Victoria Hand deck, which is kind of gaining a popular. There's even a Victoria Hand version of Agatha, which actually is not bad. We're going to be talking about Agatha later, but with Agatha, it's the current version does not use the Victoria Hand. That is the higher performing version. But like, yeah, Gorgon does represent a pretty decent tech card right now. But overall, like, I think a lot of the weight is being carried by the Mercury Cannonball combination. Spectrum's phenomenal as well. But at the end of the day, solid deck. And if you're looking to play ongoing, there's lots of options if you're missing a card or two as well. And then we do have the end of turn shenanigans running a 61% win rate, which is still very high, and a 0.42 cube rate. Once again, these are stats based off of rank 72 infinite, taking into consideration only since the OTA, so it's only the last several days. Deck is still performing particularly well. Still breaks my heart that Havoc took a bit of a stray. This deck still does incorporate Mr. Fantastic Four First Steps. It's one of the first ones that still does, right, in our top 10 right now. The nerf definitely hit it, but like, the Prodigy Invisible Woman combination is still absolutely crazy. And it wouldn't surprise me if they take a look at the way the Prodigy and the Invisible Woman interaction works, and perhaps takes a little bit off that, because like, it is, while I understand how it works and why it works the way it does, it's also a little like non-intuitive and you might think that it might, you're getting an extra proc or two there. So I do think that overall, they're probably going to take a quick look at how these decks are performing, because when anything gets nerfed, the play rate goes down because people just like stop playing it. They're like, well, I guess I'm done. I'm not going to keep playing it, right? It's worse now. It's worse. They nerfed it. And then like stats like this come out and they're like, oh wait, it's still super good. I can still play the cringe, right? And they do that. And then eventually you got to kind of revisit it. Moving Mr. Fantastic Four first steps to a 3-drop is a significant nerf. Like that is a massive nerf. But it's this Prodigy Invisible Woman interaction here, which I think kind of like, it turns heads, man. Like it definitely raises eyebrows the way these cards interact as a whole. Let's talk about deck number 1. Kind of spoiled it a little bit before, but it is Red Agatha, believe it or not, running a 63% win rate and a 0.81 cube rate. Red Agatha is absolutely demolishing cheeks, man, and it's you just love to see it, honestly. This particular version of the deck is running Claw Supergiant. You got some tech in there, and you also have the Legion. A lot of interesting stuff, but for me, there's nothing better than turn 1 Black Knight, Red Shift, Agatha gone, bring back Agatha with the Ghost Ride. Like, oh man, this deck, it goes huge on the points. The only challenge is, and in my experience playing the deck, is that your opponent often retreats. Like this doesn't have the surprise factor. The cube rate is astronomical, but it doesn't have the surprise factor, right? Like it just doesn't, you don't catch your opponent with like the surprise Shangers into Grandmaster player, into Fenris or whatever, right? Like you don't get those big board flips that often like kind of get you those 8 cubes, but still, I'm unironically talking about an Agatha deck, which is leading the charge statistically, right? Which is absolutely insane, right? Again, untapped base statistics ranked 70 to 100, and we did have to use the like 70 to 100 range simply because we didn't have enough of a sample size. Post Infinite, does this change? It's unlikely that Red Agatha would remain like a top performing shell purely post Infinite in high ranked MMR, but for now, if you're looking to rank up, the statistics don't lie, and it's a really popular deck too. It's clapping cheeks. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you on the next Marvel Snap video.